We're back, everybody. So let's see. I took the small silver mirror. The sculpture stared impassively, its marble beard still commanding my attention. I stuffed the mirror into its mouth. It didn't seem to be the right item for the job. Don't see any cavities. Yeah, very funny. Now give me my favorite mirror back before that thing chomps it to pieces. She lost her patience and snatched it off me. It was a rather nice mirror. I pictured her gazing into it as she braided her hair. Do you want to try something else? Asked Magil. Dryly, I chose. What the hell do I put in there? I lingered for a moment but pulled my hand away. It didn't seem like any of them was what we were looking for. Alright, let's just forget about it for now, muttered Kid, stowing all her valuables. I was sure we'd find a use for this stuff. Whatever, best get moving, eh? Defeated, we left the atrium behind us. Leaving the atrium behind us, we immediately found ourselves at a fork in the path. To the right was a passage and some stairs leading upward. A dark passageway continued directly ahead where we stood. The passage to the stairways was short. With Kid leading the way, we started to climb the narrow staircase. At the top, we found another intersection. Taking the corridor to the right would lead us to a dead end with a large door, while the way to the left was the terrace. To the terrace, the narrow side passage in front of us was open. Continuing forward past the stairs, the side passage emerged at the main corridor. We found ourselves in front of some ornate double doors. No. Let's enter the ornate double doors. Kid gently pushed the heavy doors open and peeked inside. Doesn't look like anyone's in there. They seem to be the main hall of the manor. There were massive, beautiful Oh my god. There was a massive table, beautiful decorations on the walls, and thick columns decorated with sculptures of birds and beasts. Fixed to the wall in the back towered a tremendous pipe organ, like a burnished black mountain. Dozens of candles provided a dim, flickering light, sending the corners of the room dancing in and out of shadow. Several enormous portraits glowered from high on the wall. Were these members of Lynx's family? I was busy staring at a painting depicting a young husband and wife when I realized that their eyes had turned to look right at me. Okay, they hadn't. Don't worry, this isn't about to turn into some dumb ghost story. It just looked that way because of the way the flickering of the light in the candles reflected against the glossy oil paints. Obviously. Probably. Hopefully. This place gives me the creeps, and get a load of all these ugly mugs. There's nothing for us here. Let's look somewhere else. Neither Magil nor I had any objections. We left the hall and returned to the corridor. Rattle. Kid stopped us. There's something there. I listened carefully. Rattle, rattle, rattle. A figure appeared in the darkness on the other side of the corridor. Oh shit. It's a skeleton! We readied ourselves for a fight. What was I going to do? We squared off against the skeleton. It threw the sword it was carrying to the ground and took a step forward, and then twisted its body into a strange pose. Wait, is it doing what I think it is? It proceeded to contort itself further, adopting a shape that could only be described as highly suggestive. For a moment, no one knew quite how to respond. What the bloody hell? What should we... Wait, Kid, look at Mag! Magil seemed completely bewitched. There was no way he'd be of any use to us in this state. What were we going to do? I tried to get Magil to snap out of it. Magil! Magil! Pull yourself together! I tried my hardest to get through to him, but he just carried on staring into space with a vacant look in his eyes. What the heck is wrong with him? What kind of weirdo gets his head turned by a bloody skeleton? Muttered Kid, turning back to face our foe. Well, can't be helped. It's only a bag of bones. We can handle this. She lunged at the creature. The skeleton brought down the sword, but Kid nimbly dodged with a sidestep to the left. Then took advantage of her momentum to kick it right in its side. Well, in the spine, close to the waist anyway. Crunch! The bone shattered, separating the skeleton into two halves. You did it! Piece of cake. The skeleton wasn't quite done yet. Supporting its upper body with its left hand, it quickly picked itself back up. And then with its right hand, it flung its sword at me. Whoosh! The sword sailed through the air right where I'd been standing only a moment before. Phew, that was close. Take this! Kid rushed down the skeleton and shattered its skull with an almighty kick. body fell to the floor with a clatter, and then finally the creature lay still. You alright, Serge? Yeah, I think so. That's that dealt with. Now. Kid turned her attention back to Magil. Can't believe this Drongo, though. She brought her fist down hard on his head. Maybe that'll wake you up. Now, if we're done here, let's get a bloody move on. What was I? Oh, ow! Phew, I'd taken a few knocks and I was alright. A scrape or two wouldn't stop me. Maybe you ain't such a Drongo after all. Just goes to show, any old weirdo can make something of themselves if they put their mind to it. Kid's eyes glinted with mischief. We headed down the side passage. At the end, we came to an old, immaculately polished door. Kid gently pushed the door ajar and peeked into the room. The next thing I knew, she'd slipped inside. Magil and I followed. Looks like a study. The room was lit by the moonlight coming through the long, slender windows, slanting down in pale beams through the darkness. It was pretty big for a study, with an immaculate antique desk dominating the center. There were rows of bookshelves lined with thick, dusty old tomes. The wall to the rear of the room was decorated with paintings. The shelves of vases and painted plates stood before it. They all seemed to be curios from foreign lands. I went over to the desk and started searching the drawers. There, I found a neatly arranged set of pens, ink bottles, and other writing materials. Nothing of interest, in other words. A small portrait on the desk caught my eye. It was a picture of a young girl with a gentle smile on her lips. Who was she? That's right. That's the girl Lynx adopted. If you ask me, it wasn't because he was looking to help the needy, said Kid, peering over my shoulder. She wrinkled her nose in the distaste. Not even a looker. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. It wasn't a loud knock, but in the bottomless silence of the night, it might as well have been a thunderclap. Kid and I stood bolt upright and turned toward it. Magil, meanwhile, hid in the shadows, drifting away like smoke. Panicked, I whispered to Kid, hide behind the door in the shadows. Quick, get behind the door. We kept our bodies low as we silently and swiftly made for the back of the door where the shadows would keep us hidden. We pressed our backs to the wall and did our best to still our breathing. Slowly, the door opened. Flickering candlelight spread across the doorway with a warm glow. I held my breath. But it seemed like whoever it was didn't mean to come in. They simply stood there. Strange. I thought I heard something. But the Lord of the Manor is away, of course. Why would there be anyone in here? I have to get over my nerves. Everything was fine until we heard the news that Pori was on the move. The figure that quietly closed the door, plunging the room back into darkness. The voice trailed off into a whisper. We remained motionless, keeping our ears pricked for any sign of an unwelcome return. All we heard were footsteps moving away. So Pori has made his move. Magil emerged from the shadows, contemplating the news we overheard. Kid, if the rumors are true, we might well be about to find ourselves in a very difficult situation. This seemed to set her thinking too. Pori was a powerful nation that ruled the southern continent. I heard it was a prosperous land whose recent and sudden development had pushed it far ahead of its neighbors, which made me wonder, what would its inhabitants want here, out in the sticks? They couldn't be after the frozen flame too, could they? As valuable as it might be, a jewel was just a jewel in the grand scheme of things. I couldn't imagine it being an item of national interest. I mean, ultimately, it was just a pretty rock, right? Let them do what they want. If everyone's busy playing soldiers, they won't be bothering us. Come on, we got things to do. She headed for the door. We left the room and made our way back down the side passage. Let's go back to the terrace. Rattle. Kid stopped us. There's something here. Now listen carefully. Rattle, rattle, rattle. A figure approached in the darkness on the other side of the corridor. It's another skeleton. Come on then! I leaped at the skeleton. I lashed out with the sword. Blood dripped from my face. The tip of the blade had scratched my cheek. Eek! I jumped back in the panic. Hope you brought your brown trousers, grumbled the kid. We squared off against the skeleton. Suggested pose again. The opening, created and raised the sword, kicked as hard as I could, and the sword was flat. There was an almighty crack in the bow and snap, and the skeleton fell in two. So a second later, Kid landed a massive blow on the top half. With the skull shattered, the skeleton immediately came to a halt. Well, I guess he could fight after all. We had defeated the skeleton. Kid turned her attention back to Mandrill. Can't believe this Drongo, though. Blah, 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 blah. Wait a second. What's that? There was a leather bag on the ground containing some recently cooked meat. Lucky me, I bit into the meat without a moment's hesitation. After devouring the unexpected windfall, I felt a little better. Oi, where's my share? Busted. I pretended not to hear. I was doing great. I felt like nothing could stop me. Maybe you ain't such a Drongo after all. Just go show any old weirdo can do the thing and the stuff in the thing. After a short walk down the corridor, the terrace came into view. A short way along the corridor, running from the right-hand side of the terrace, we found an ancient-looking door. Again, on our right. Kid pressed ear against it, listening for any signs of life. Dead quiet. Don't reckon there's anybody in there. In we go. Kid stilled her breath and reached for the handle. The door wasn't locked. It swung slowly open. What's this room supposed to be? Place is a dump. Kid had poked her head in through the door, taking a quick peek to see if there was anyone inside, and was disappointed by what she found. The room was large and littered with peculiar-looking machinery and knickknacks, all of which were covered in dust and had seemingly been dumped there haphazardly. Everything looked like it had been there rusting for a very long time. The ends of the room were completely dark, and it was impossible to tell just how big it was, or even that what the walls and floors looked like. It seemed the manor's inhabitants had turned the old clock tower into a makeshift storage space some time ago. I stepped warily inside. Leave that alone! I looked over toward Magwell and saw a kid trying to pull something from the shadows. It was a large sword that appeared to be very old indeed. You don't need that old bludgeon. It'll only get in the way. As much of an antique as it was, it won't fetch much on the market in that condition. Yeah? Reckon it might. You know, there's plenty of collectors who just love bits of junk. Well, some old bits of junk. Pouting, Kid left the sword where she stood. At least she put it back down gently. It was then that we heard a voice from the shadows. And what exactly are you doing here? I just about jumped out of my skin. Who's there? Kid and Magwell turned to face the voice, ready for a fight. A wizened crone emerged from the shadows. She was hunched over and wore a hood draped over her face. I could tell at a glance that she wasn't just old, she was positively ancient. It's just some doddery old hag. What do you think you're doing, sneaking up on us like that? Kid's shoulders relaxed as the tension left her body. Magwell, however, continued to give the woman a piercing stare. Oh, what an impish little thing you are. Here to visit a friend, perhaps? Not in the dead of night, I suspect. The crone narrowed her eyes. Let's get a closer look at you. Ah, yes. You must be here to get your revenge on Lynx. How did she? My heart jumped. She seemed to know exactly who we were. We were in trouble. What if she sounded the alarm? We'd have to give up on the treasure and run for our lives. So what if we are? Kid narrowed her eyes right back at the crone. What's it to you if we're here to get our revenge on old Lynxy boy? You gonna do something about it? You never change, do you? The crone chuckled madly, her small frame shaking. Ah, the boldness of you. Yes, that's the spirit. You what? Kid looked at the crone completely confused. I was no less mystified. What the heck are you on about? Oi. Oh, it must have been 4 or 5 years ago. Yes, it was around that an innocent young thief stole into the manor looking to singe Lord Lynx's whiskers. She couldn't have been much older than 10, now that I think of it. Shocked, my gaze turned to Kid. A wet glint had appeared in Kid's eyes, but her glare was like ice. It certainly felt as if the temperature in the room had suddenly dropped below freezing. With a chuckle, the crone continued her story, pretending not to have noticed the changing in the mood. She was an orphan, you know, came after Lynx to avenge a woman who loved her like her own daughter. But all that vengefulness in the world couldn't change the fact that she was only a little girl. She was no match for Lynx's men, sadly, and they quickly captured her. Lynx is the kind of man one would fear to have for an ally, never mind a foe. Had it not been for the timely assistance of a friend of hers, the girl would have certainly been executed. The way the people of the manor told it, the very shadows pitied the girl and rushed to spirit her away. I wonder how much of the tale can be true. I have nothing but sympathy for those who know failure, of course. You can't win all the time. And sometimes, against all odds, fate really can be foiled, and the clockwork of history sent into disarray. No, the ones I have no patience for are those who do not recognize their failure, or who fail and choose to give up as a result. The crone looked up from under her hood, stared Kid directly in the face, and grinned. Kid's anger faded, giving way to a dumbfounded expression. you wish to steal the jewel from Lynx, if you truly wish to triumph, you will have to let go of a treasure of your own, kid. For as long as you cling on to it, the hands of your clock will never move. They'll stay exactly where they came to rest all those years ago. Who are you? Oh, me? Why, I'm just an old hag. I'm just an old bag, like you said. I do apologize. I must have taken up a lot of your time with all my babbling. I'll leave you in peace. Oh, but before I go, the crone turned to face me. You seem to be injured, young man. If you wish, I can take a look at your wounds. With all the attention suddenly turned toward me, I panicked a little. All right, then, please do. What? All right, then, please do. The girl muttered a few words as her bony fingers drew sigils in the air. A pale, gentle light began to surround my body, filling me with a strange warmth. Strike a light. That's no ordinary spell. The kid was impressed. I felt my wounds healing, and heard a nostalgic melody that soothed the wounds in my heart. Before I realized it, the crone was gone. Hey! Hey, lady! The kid strained her eyes, scanning the darkness. But there was no one to be seen, and her calls went unanswered. Who the bloody heck was that? The kid looked like she'd just woken up from the floor of a laughing pig after a few too many. And what does she mean about you having to let go of a treasure? Well, we won't find any answers here. Time to move on. Nalger brought us back down to earth, emotionless as always. It almost seemed as if he thought nothing had happened at all. Yeah, I guess you're right. The kid walked quickly to the door, keen to move on. Hold it, you! Just as I was about to follow Kid out of the room, she jabbed me in the side with her elbow. You stingy little bugger, Serge. Why didn't you tell her to share some of that healing magic with the rest of us? Classic, kid. The door led back into the corridor, which stretched off to the left and to the right. Rightly lay the depths of the manor, while the way left led back to the terrace. Go to the right. Continuing down the corridor, we came across a rather sturdy-looking door on our left. A little further on stood a stairway leading upward. Well, this door is clearly meant to keep something safe. If there ain't some kind of treasure behind it, me name ain't Kid. Yep, that's the smell of cold, hard cash, all right, she muttered to herself as she began to inspect the door. I guess we're going inside. Bah, what am I, stupid? Of course it's bloody locked. Kid had tried the handle a few times before giving it a grumpy kick. Bloody door's got a magic barrier on it, and the bloody barrier's got a barrier of its own to boot. It'll take more than me putting my boot to get through all that. I see. Then unless we find the key, we don't have a hope of getting inside. Reckon I can handle a key hunt, especially if it's that idiot Lynx who's hidden it. If we can find his room, I'll sniff it out in 2 seconds flat. You just watch. I guess we continue on. Like, we found his room. Corridor ended at the foot of some stairs. Like, yeah, we found his room. With Kid in the lead, we headed upwards. It was dark and the stairwell was narrow. We watched our footing carefully as we climbed. The stone of the steps was worn smooth with age, and I lost count of how many there were as we spiraled onward and upward. An awful sense of foreboding haunted me. I had no idea why, but it felt as though we were marching to the gallows. When we arrived at the top of the stairs, we were greeted by an old, heavy door looming in the silence. All was deathly silent, and the still, clammy air added to the sense of ominous apprehension. Something's very wrong here, I muttered without thinking. I hear cursed whispers from beyond the door, Magil added, doing nothing to lift the mood. Ah, grow up, will ya? Kid shot back at us, derisively. She was already examining the door. Well, it ain't locked, and I don't hear anyone inside. All right, here goes. Kid tried the handle. The door opened, and with a slow, heavy swing, revealed what lay beyond. It was a small, cylindrical room that appeared to be inside of one of the stone towers. It was completely deserted, and there were no windows. What's this supposed to be? Something about this place gives me the creeps. Still standing in the doorway, Kid seemed suddenly taken aback. There might be something in here. Let's take a closer look. A closer look at a bloody empty room? Pah, might as well, I guess. We did climb all them stairs. Kid stepped through the door, grumbling under her breath. I scanned the room and then noticed something on the floor. The flagstones were covered in dozens of narrow scratches, and in places there were thick black stains. Something in the stains spoke of a horror that no amount of scrubbing would ever wash away, a malice and a sadness beyond imagining. There was something written here. Crouching in front of a wall, Magil was inspecting some brownish markings that looked like more of the same stains. Someone's carved letters into the wall and scrambled them using blood magic? Kid had gone to check. Looks pretty old. Hard to read, too. Some of it's been worn away. Let's see. I cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to leave the Acacian signet in this room. The Acacian signet? Suddenly, the door slammed shut. We jumped to our feet with a start. From above us, we heard an unsettling creaking sound. The walls and the floor began to tremble. What the hell's going on? Kid's eyes darted around the room and she desperately tried to figure out what was happening. The creaking sound from above continued and the ceiling moved ominously closer. Up there! Oh shit. We walked right into a bloody trap. Kid bit her lip. We gotta do something and fast. We don't have time to sit and think about this. Good idea. There's gotta be a hidden door or something somewhere, yelled Kid. Panicked, we tried thumping the wall to see what we could find. But all we came up against was solid, unyielding stone. The edge of one of the descending blades sliced into my forehead. There was no time. What were we going to do? Right, we need to stop the ceiling, yelled Kid. But how? I had no idea. Is there a hidden switch somewhere? Panicked, we brushed our hands against the floor and the wall to see if anything had escaped our notice. One of the descending blades stabbed into my shoulder. We had to do something fast. Kid sprang to the door like an arrow, slamming into her shoulder first. But it was far too heavy and her light frame bounced right off it. Damn it! Magil raced toward the door like the wind, smashing into it with ferocious force. It made a creaking sound and shook from the impact and stood firm. Desperately, I hurled myself at it too. The shock of the impact rushed through my body, but it was no good. Meanwhile, the rusty creaking from above continued, as did the ceiling's inexorable journey downward. To make matters worse, now countless blades were popping in and out. Surge, Magil, this is going to take the three of us. Timing our blow, we all charged the door at once. Once, twice, a third time. Then the door was open and we all collapsed on the heap in the corridor outside. Whoa! Behind us, we heard the sound of the bladed ceiling grinding on the stone floor of the tower room. The metallic scraping sounds it made was awful. We could only look on in silent horror at the fate we'd so narrowly evaded. The machinery continued for a short while before slowly coming to a stop. It seemed the ceiling trap had finally finished its grisly work. Bugger me! Talk about a nasty surprise! Is it some sort of execution chamber? Magil continued, seeming to be in a deep thought. In any case, that writing mentioned Acacia. Yeah, what was all that about? I asked. The Acacian Dragoons, the elite knightly order serving General Viper, who once governed the territory of Galesburg to the west. Former knightly order, I should say. They were wiped out more than a decade ago, by the lord of this very manor, no less. Uh-huh, thanks for the history lesson, Mag. Kid rose to her feet, patting off the dust. Too bad we're not here for fairy tale nights. Come on, we've got a lot more exploring left to do. Magil shrugged silently, and we headed back to the stairs. With Kid in the lead, we headed downstairs. We went down the stairs and continued straight ahead, eventually coming across a sturdy-looking door on our right. The corridor continued further back toward the terrace. We can't go into that one, so we gotta continue on. Continue down the corridor, eventually coming across the door on our left. I think we've been there too. Keep going to the corridor. Okay, down the stairs. Oh. Slowly we crept down the staircase, staying deeper into the black as we went. At the bottom, the path split. The left continued onto an atrium that resembled a sort of plaza. Alright, we just gotta keep going. Kid opened the door and slipped inside. So let's see if we can find the key now. I knew he wouldn't be here. We started looking for any signs of the key to the vault. Maybe she can help, said Kid, thrusting her chin toward the mirror. I gently pulled the soft cloth from the mirror and stared into the glass. It was dark, like the surface of a lake at night. That still creeps me out. What is your desire? I asked her where the key to the vault was. Do you know where the key to the vault is? The mirror's reflection rippled and changed to reveal a room with numerous bookshelves. A deep, sonorous voice. You will find the key in the place I revealed, the study. It is in a book with a purple cover in the furthest bookshelf from the door. The image of the study vanished from the mirror and the voice went silent. It appears the spirit has left for another mirror, commented Magil. To the study then. As I made to leave the room, a low voice rumbled through the air, stopping me dead in my tracks. Beware. He knows. Was it the voice in the mirror again? What did it mean? Hurry up, or we're leaving you behind, Serge, called the kid from the outside. Flustered, I rushed after her. The corridor stretched out beyond the door. We retraced our steps. Eventually we came across an ornate door on the left-hand side. Let's just keep going. The study is on the other side. Let's just keep going. Right, let's find this key. Light on her feet as always, Kid moved into the center of the room. Where'd the mirror say it was again, Serge? She was asking me. How was I supposed to remember? I did remember. Purple cover of our bookcase. I think it was supposed to be the one with the purple cover in the furthest bookcase. Alright, let's see. Seeming to take my word for it, Kid made for the case in question. Right, this is the one. Purple cover, aha! This has got to be it. Kid pulled out a book from the bottom shelf. Magil and I watched as she opened it. The pages were hollowed out and hidden inside was an old key decorated with strange symbols. Nailed it! Nice one, Serge. Kid snatched the key from inside the book. Right, time to finally get a look at this treasure. Having got what we came for, we left the study. Alright, let's go back to the terrace. Kid stopped in her tracks, her senses clearly tingling. Magil and I were right behind her and immediately realized that something was very wrong. We could hear a faint whispering as if a spell were being cast, and a faint light was emanating from a monster sitting crouched on the flagstones ahead. A long, bony finger traced shapes in the tiles. A demon! I pulled out my knife and readied myself to confront it. I waited to see what it would do. I watched the demon carefully, keeping a tight grip on my knife. Magil didn't waste a moment and let grip with the spell. A ball of flame slammed into the creature. I could smell the stench of burnt flesh. The demon's eyes reddened as it bared its fangs. Cursed whispers filled the air. It was casting a spell. Leave this to me, I yelled at exactly the same time as Kid. I slipped around the left side of the demon as it swung its sight down. Whoosh! The blade sliced the air a hair's breadth from my nose. A single moment later and I would have had no nose left to speak of. Kid took advantage while the demon was focused on me and moved in to stab it full in the back. The creature let out a grotesque howl and collapsed to the floor. Ha, did you plan as a decoy so I could finish it off? Or was that just coincidence? Either way, it did the trick. Kid beamed with pride. The demon's blue blood pooled on the floor as it lay there writhing in pain. Its face contorted with agony. It glared at us and began tracing strange shapes on the ground with the last of its strength. Kid sensed something wicked was afoot. Just die already, will ya? But the demon carried on writing, strange shapes forming from its blood. An eerie light illuminated a hastily scrawled curse. And then there was a flash. Lightning bolts of energy danced around my feet. kid who was standing right next to the demon jumped back with a start, and then it started drawing even more of the strange symbols. She took advantage while the creature was still concentrating. She twisted her body and stretched out a leg and swung a graceful arc right into the demon's belly. With a final gasp, it collapsed on top of its unfinished task. And at last, it lay still. Whew. I'd taken a few knocks out or a scraper two wouldn't stop me. Maybe you won't start driving after all. Just go any old weirdo can be a weirdo. A short way unclear, right from the right hand side of the terrace. We found an ancient looking door again down our right. Don't need no clock tower. Continuing down the corridor, we came across a rather sturdy looking door and I left. That should do it. Kid slipped the key we'd found into the lock. Lines of magical light flashed across the surface of the door and vanished as various magical barriers were dispelled. Up, down, left, right, blue, red, green, every color under the sun, and then all was quiet, and the darkness of the manor returned. Right, we're in. With a creak, the heavy door gently swung open. And we'll figure out what's going on here next time. Until then, everybody.